I'll try to keep this short. I had a 1967 Impala 4-door that I bought in February 2019. A couple of months ago, I bought my first house that had a 2.5 car garage. I moved the car in and started tearing it down for a complete restoration. I had the body in one bay and the chassis in another, plus the whole garage filled with parts. About 2 months ago my girlfriend came to live with me during this whole crisis and the whole time has hated that car. She wants to park in the garage, but I have 2 acres of land with a lot of nice places to park under shady trees or hell even in the barn if it has to be inside. I tell her tough luck, it's my house and it's not like I can just throw it back together real quick. Anyways, I was out of town for a couple of days on a business trip for the small local company I work for. When I got back, my girlfriend was all smiles. Making me food all the time, doing all the chores, all that. I thought maybe she just was happy to have me home, but then I realized that I didn't see her car in its usual spot. I asked her where she parked so I could make sure I mow that area and keep it clean, and she said not to worry because she parked in the garage. I asked how, and she told me to go check it out. Turns out that while I was gone she hired some people to come over and move everything related to that car, including the drivetrain, body, and chassis and all parts, and take it to the local dumper scrapyard. I was absolutely dumbfounded. I had spent over $11,000 on that car, including new parts, services, and the car itself. I told her that I was going to be taking her to court for that, and she brushed me off like I was being dramatic. I told her that it's done between us and to pack her things and leave. I admit I was really angry, but I did end up getting a lawyer, and as I have all the receipts for all that money spent, and I have her on my house's security cam footage letting the guys in and watching them take it all, I think I can win. Her family and friends are absolutely blowing me up, saying it's just a stupid old piece of junk and that she cannot pay back all that money I spent and that I should just let it go. But I have been putting all my time, effort, and money into that car for a year and a half now, and goddamn it if I am not going to get justice for what she did. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Holy crap, definitely not the idiot. That's like your girlfriend selling a dog out from under you while you are on a business trip because she didn't like it. The audacity. If she didn't like it, she could have just ignored it. The most toxic part is that she sees no issue. Your property, your house, she throws it away. And if any judge knows the worth of that car, they would understand suing her for the costs. Let alone the time you spent on it. That's a hobby, and a damn good one. Not the idiot. My husband has several old cars. I haven't seen the inside of the garage in 20 years. But he loves his hobby cars, and I would never dream of asking him to lose one. I say take her to court. Be sure you sue for replacement cost. The Impalas are getting hard to come by, and you may have to pay more than you think. Oh, and congrats on dodging the bullet with that one. If she pulled this crap in the first year. Just think what she would be trying after a couple of kids and 10 years of marriage. Not the idiot, leave that girl. It's not even her house and she's been there for 2 months and got rid of your property. I'd be suing her and kicking her out. Her actions are not justified. They know she can't afford it, but block all calls and messages from anyone reaching out to her. You don't need that in your life. Good luck, and I know the money won't make up for all the time and work you put into the car, but I hope you get some justice and I hope she learns an old lesson: don't touch things that aren't yours. My wife Amanda and I have 3 children. Rebecca, who is 15, Oliver, who is 11, and Katie, who is 7. Yesterday was the wedding of the daughter of an old friend of mine. Myself and the kids attended, but Amanda was unable to because she had some work stuff that she needed to sort. In the car, Rebecca was sitting in the front seat. It was a long journey to the wedding venue, and she spent most of it taking pictures of herself for Snapchat or whatever, like most people her age do. It was a warm sunny day, so we had the car windows open, and Rebecca was sticking her hand out of the window and eventually her face to feel the breeze. I warned her several times not to do this, and eventually Rebecca's glasses ended up going flying off her face. We were driving fast on a motorway, so there wasn't much chance of us being able to go back for the glasses. Rebecca needs a very strong prescription, 26, so going without glasses isn't really something she can manage. She didn't bring a spare pair with her, but she does have one at home. She was upset and asked if we could go back for them. However, we were far closer to our destination than our home, and going back would take hours and we would miss the wedding. The younger kids were getting restless, and spending the entire day in the car would be very frustrating for them. At the wedding, Rebecca was upset at being unable to see anything. Her siblings had to guide her around everywhere, and she felt humiliated at having two younger kids literally dragging her around everywhere. She didn't know where to look in photos and couldn't see what the bride and groom looked like. When we got home, Rebecca got Amanda to get her spare pair of glasses, and as soon as she put them on she ran off to her room, and we could hear her crying for a long time. I told Amanda what happened, and she was not happy with me. She asked how I could be so irresponsible as to let our daughter be blind for hours. I agree that it wasn't a nice choice to make, but the alternative was subjecting the younger kids to hours sat in the car and also missing a wedding which one of my oldest and closest friends invited us to. It wasn't a nice choice, but I think I did the best under very bad circumstances. Everyone's the idiot here. This happened because she was doing something she wasn't supposed to be doing and you didn't discipline her properly. If a kid is sticking their hands and face out of the window on the highway, you tell to stop, and when they don't, you put the windows up and lock them. That would have prevented this whole incident. Also, it's dangerous anyway. You could have been pulled over. Your daughter could have been hit by debris. You should have put a stop to it really quickly. And I'm all for suffering the consequences that you bring on yourself. Everyone's the idiot here. You shouldn't have gone back, that's absurd. Her options were stay in the car or be blind at the wedding, but you should have stopped her sticking her head out of the window in the first place. She may be old enough to be responsible for her own glasses, but that is legitimately dangerous and you should have put a stop to it immediately, regardless of whether she was wearing glasses. Everyone includes your wife too. How is she blaming you for her almost adult daughter sticking her head out of a window and losing incredibly expensive glasses? You're the idiot, she's 15. Everyone who thinks teenagers have the brain capacity of adults do not know teenagers as well as they think they do. My prescription is nearly as bad as hers, and to be in a room of people blind is torture. To be amongst people and have younger siblings lead her around and care for her while you partied with your friends is punishment for all of them. Your daughter will never forget this lesson, and she will never forget you decided to teach it to her in a cruel way. I entered a raffle 18 months ago and won a house in my name. I wasn't expecting to win, and the house is worth a few bob, so as you can imagine I'm over the moon since I paid a couple of quid for the entry. It's tucked away in Wales, where I will never settle or live. I'm in the south of England, but I entered on a whim and, as I say, wasn't really expecting to win. I'm in my 40s and have some younger half-siblings, all of whom I love very much and would like to care for. My stepdaughter is a similar age as pregnant. She was raised in a very stable home with love and attention to her education from both her dad and mum, however at present she isn't working because of mental health issues. She doesn't have her own home and has moved in with her out-of-work boyfriend, who we think has overstayed his visa. So really I understand she is in a precarious position. I was never especially close with her because she resented I was with her dad, no cheating or anything, she just felt I was in the way as kids often do, despite me trying very hard to form a relationship with her. I can't have my own bio children and was very keen to gain a daughter or friend, but life circumstances have meant it's been hard to relate to her or her to me. When I found out about the house, I wanted to gift it to my younger two siblings, both work from home and would love the house. They had zero advantages growing up, in fact due to their mum being a piece of crap I feel they had more disadvantages, and they live in a rough area of London at present. I think they deserve it and they'd love it. Husband and I have no inclination to move, and we could sell it on, but we don't want to right now. My stepdaughter on the other hand is extremely well connected and has lots of benefits that have helped her along, and although I empathize with her mental health struggles in pregnancy, I also know that she will hopefully be fine. My husband is already supporting her with a large allowance each month, as well as her mum. She called me after months of not properly speaking to me to ask when she can move in. I had discussed clearly with my husband the plan for the house, to which he agreed and was surprised. I said she's not getting the house. She was pretty shocked and said she's pregnant and the house is literally right there, and why would I stop her from having a good head start? I tried to gently explain to her, but the conversation got more and more heated, with eventually her pulling her dad into it. Somehow during the end of this conversation, both my husband and stepdaughter were crying and asking me to reconsider and saying I was being heartless and possibly even cruel by not. I honestly feel very frustrated and probably quite bitter. She was happy to not talk to me for months despite me reaching out multiple times, but the moment I have something she wants it's "Oh hi Leslie, how are you?" I just feel even more like I want to dig my heels in at this point. Not the idiot. You don't just have a stepdaughter problem, you have a husband problem. You don't owe her anything, and it's really gross that, when she doesn't have a relationship with you, she just assumed you'd give it to her. And, even knowing you had other plans, your husband flipped on you. I hope you have a marriage contract. Do what you want with the house, it's yours. She doesn't get it just because you're married to her father. Heck, even being your daughter wouldn't make her entitled. Stay strong. Not the idiot. Siblings first, then renters through a company. By the way, do see if your siblings can pay a minimum amount of rent. You'll have to maintain the place, and things like taxes etc. add up fast. It will be a win for all if they pay for that stuff and get a lower than average rent. Make it official with paperwork because you love your family, but this is how crap starts. Why is your stepdaughter ready to move such a distance if all her connections are in your area? It seems really a rather stupid idea on her side to start with, besides the entitlement. Not the idiot. Either keep the house in your name only or gift it to your siblings, whichever will make sure that your husband doesn't get 50% of it. Let your siblings move in, never give the key to your husband. You have an opportunity to help your siblings, take it. Your stepdaughter has been getting an allowance from two parents, she should be able to figure out her living situation. And it's okay to be bitter about her, you can still be not the idiot and be doing this partially because she was never kind to you. I wouldn't want to gift a house to someone who was unkind to me. My son and his wife are expecting their first child next month, and of course my wife and I couldn't be happier about it. This weekend my son was helping me with some yard work, 6 feet apart, and we started talking about the delivery. I asked if he was nervous, and he said I am nervous for her, but kind of relived I'll be in the waiting room. I was dumbfounded, and he said that, when he and his wife discussed it, she expressed that she would highly prefer having just her mother in the room, but that she of course wouldn't stop him if he felt strongly about being there instead, since due to the virus she can only have one person in the room with her. He insisted he was indifferent about witnessing the birth and wanted to respect his wife's preference. I explained that this is not okay, he needs to be there. He got frustrated with me and said that his wife is a private person, that she's very close to her mother, and that she says she'll be best comforted by someone who's already done it 3 times and will know how things should go. I'll admit I rolled my eyes at that. I tried to tell him that the days he and his sister were born were the best days of my life and the memory would be nothing if I just walked into the room post-birth and got handed a fresh, clean baby. Helping my wife through the birth cemented our partnership as a couple and as parents. Being the one to cut the cords, being an equal part of the birthing process, it's so important as a dad. It's a huge part of your bond with a baby. I tried to explain that not only will it be very hard for him to bond with a baby if he doesn't witness the birth, he needs to be there to ensure that his rights are protected. Apparently they've already been arguing about her wanting to be doped up for the birth because she can't handle pain, and if it's just her mom in the room, he won't be able to ensure she doesn't overrule him with the epidural. And although it's tough to think about the worst case scenario, he needs to be the one in the room if things go wrong. If huge medical decisions need to be made and someone needs to choose if the doctors will save his wife or his baby, of course his mother-in-law will insist on saving her baby instead of his. He needs to be able to be there. After I offered to call his wife to explain the situation to her as a father who's been through it twice, we ended up getting a bit heated and he left. I've called a few times but he won't answer. My wife says she doesn't want to get involved, but that he told her he doesn't want to talk to me until I apologize. I still don't know for what. I called his wife to try to get a straight story from her about the extent to which she pressured him to cave and agree to wait outside, and she just swore at me and said meddlesome crap like this is what keeps us from being close. I'm honestly dumbfounded. Am I seriously the idiot for explaining to my son how important it is to witness the birth of his child? You're the idiot. First of all, you aren't your son. If he is okay with not being in the room, that's his choice. Secondly, it's her body. If she chooses to be doped up for labor, no one gets to say otherwise, including her husband. And finally, you're a super idiot for inserting yourself to the point of calling your daughter-in-law. Mind your business before you get cut off from having a relationship with your unborn grandchild. Also, being in the room doesn't make you an equal part of the birthing process, get real. You're the idiot. This isn't your child being born, it's theirs. In their relationship, they make their rules and do things their way. You don't get to impose your beliefs on them. You don't get to tell your son he's wrong for a choice that he and his wife mutually agreed was right for them. You don't get to call his wife and try to pressure her into confessing to manipulating your son. Christ, if this is how you're like, I'm shocked that they continue to have any relationship with you at all. You're the idiot. You're giving off some very controlling father-in-law vibes. Specifically, when you say he won't be able to ensure she doesn't overrule him with the epidural. It's her body and you are not a partner. You seem to think that you're an expert on birth giving in unprecedented times. I'm sorry that your grandchild isn't being born in the exact way that you were hoping, but have some sympathy for the mother who is going through an extreme medical event in out days. I probably could have handled it better, but I seemed to get mixed responses at the pool and thought I could use the insight. Basically, the pool in my community allows up to 12 people at a time, with all the pool furniture spaced out enough to socially distance. I was with my sister and we swam and suntanned before this all happened. This woman at first was talking to us, but my sister and I didn't know she was talking to us directly until she came and shook my shoulders a little roughly. Asked me to cover my backside. I was suntanning on the pool chair laying on my stomach with the towel that I was laying on because I looked indecent. And the reason why? Well, she said it made her and her husband uncomfortable because of my side boob that was showing, which was only because of how my swimsuit is designed. As well as her young daughter, who she said would have been badly influenced by me. The only reason I talked back to her was because she was harassing me and my sister when she was raising her voice to talk to us about these public indecency and etiquette. Other people told me to just go with it so that they all could enjoy their time there, so I put on a see-through cover-up swimwear thing and she still didn't like it. Others thought she was in the wrong. So what happened was some other people got involved when they heard her, and these other kind ladies told her off, which I didn't expect. And that they'd report her so she'd be temporarily restricted for how she was harassing others, and so other people won't have to go through the same. Everything happened in the moment earlier today, so I don't know what's going to happen after. But am I the idiot for talking back to a woman who asked me to cover myself and possibly being the reason that her family and her get restricted from the pool? Not the idiot. The bad influence here is a set of parents who are teaching their daughter that it is perfectly okay to put your hands on a stranger and to shame them for the bodies they were born into. She sounds like one of those Catholic boy moms who annually write open letters asking young women not to wear yoga pants because they are tempting young men. You know, rather than writing open letters to their sons, explaining that women of all ages and shapes exist autonomously and are actual humans, and not just objects. Not the idiot. That lady is the only reason she is now restricted from the pool. If she wanted to just go and enjoy the pool with her family, then none of this would have happened. She got banned because she was harassing other people and interfering with their use of the pool. And depending on where you live, shaking you by the shoulders could be considered assault. Her husband can keep his damn eyeballs in his head, she can keep her thoughts to herself, and you should be able to enjoy the pool unbothered by them. Not the idiot, how rude and entitled. It's your body. If it makes her husband uncomfortable and she's worried about her daughter getting bad ideas, then she shouldn't take her husband or daughter anywhere with other people. Her husband's gaze is not your responsibility, and how her daughter experiences the world is not your issue either. You were at a pool, seemed to be as decent as you could be for the activity, and she bothered you to the point of physical intervention.